Now this creative sewing project is a super beginner friendly project to work on, and it's a functional item. You'll be able to use it right away, so let's get to it. The materials you need for this project, I increased the size a little bit from when I did it on live, a 7" by 16" piece of cotton. I'm using the matching 7.5" by 8" piece of the same cotton, a 7" by 7.5" piece of Fusible fleece, and you'll need a store-bought kitchen towel. This will actually make 2 towels, so if you want, cut 2 pieces of each so you can make a matching set. So the first thing you need to do is take your towel, open it up, and you're going to end up cutting it in half in this midpoint. So again, we're just going to fold it over, and it doesn't have to be precise, but like this one has horizontal lines on it, so I'm just going to follow that horizontal line mark. And now we have 2 towels ready to be made into regular decorative towel. Now I am going to cut off the tag from my towels. You can leave your tag on if you prefer. I just don't want it to be on there on my finished towel. Now, to prepare your towel, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either create pleats or you can ruffle it or gather it. If you want to gather it, just set your machine to its highest stitch length. Just do a straight stitch across the top and then gather it by pulling on the bobbin thread. Otherwise, you can create your pleats. And to create your pleats, just know that you need your finished width of your towel to be 6 inches. So you can pleat it as much or as little as you want. Totally up to you. You can have it so the edges are folded in. Again, it's completely up to you. But again, it has to be 6 inches. And once you have it how you want it, I would suggest taking some clips, clipping it across the top. Then you take it to your machine and you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance, short stitch length 2.0 across the top just to hold those pleats in place. After playing around with mine for a little bit, I did end up making it 6 inches across the top. So now to stitch across the top, 1/4 inch seam allowance, 2.0 stitch length. Okay, so now I've stitched it across the top, so it's holding those pleats in place. Next, we'll prepare the main topper piece. Now, if you have a directional fabric, you want the bottom of it to be here at the bottom. Flip it over, right side facing down. You're going to take your Fusible fleece and lay it. Find the midpoint of your topper by folding in half, pressing, get that crease line. Then I have my crease line, so I know where to line up my Fusible fleece. I'm going to line that up right there. You will have about a 1/2 inch hanging over at the bottom, and that's good. Go fuse that to your fabric. Now that I have fused my Fusible fleece on that bottom section, leaving that 1/2 inch mark, now we need to prepare our loop. So you take your piece that is 7.5 by 8 inches. You're going to take it and fold it in half so that it's now 7.5 by 4 inches. Take it to your iron and press it, open it up, and then fold into that center crease line, press it again, and then fold it in half again and press again. Then we're going to top stitch along both long edges at a 3.5 to 4.0 top stitch length, or you can use a decorative stitch if you'd like. Now keep in mind, if you have a focus part of your fabric that you want showing on the front of your loop handle, you do need to make sure that you have it within the 2-inch to 6-inch section of your fabric piece that you are using for your handle, so that when you fold it in half and then in half again, you've got that portion of what you want on display. One other thing you need to do to prepare your topper piece is fold in the edge that has no batting. Fold it in by a 1/2 inch and press it. So we're just going to go to the iron and press that 1/2 inch down. Once you have that pressed down, you can flip your piece over, take your topper with your focused fabric on the front, and we're going to line that up on our crease. So this edge, so the majority of it will be on the side opposite where you have your fusible fleece. We're going to line up one edge, one of our raw edges. I'm going to clip that in place, and then I'm going to take that to the machine and stitch it on there with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and a short stitch length. After you've stitched that down, it is going to overhang a little bit, and that's okay. This is going to accommodate the towel slipping through this handle. So then you just slide those raw edges back and line it up with the opposite side, clip it, and stitch the way you did here, 1/4 inch seam allowance, short stitch length of 2. After the handle has been attached, you're going to take it and fold it right sides together. Fold it right in half at that crease line, lining up your raw edges. Clip it in place, and you'll need to shimmy your handle or your loop, push that in so the excess is more in the middle. Now there will be a little bit of an overhang, a 1/2 inch overhang, and that's what you need down here at the bottom. But right now we're going to stitch this down by a 1/4 inch seam allowance, back tacking at the front and the stop, start and the stop. So actually it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance along both sides. I misspoke earlier. And then we're going to flip this right side out. We're going to push out those corners. We're going to have our handle or our loop on the side without the batting. And we'll just take it to the iron and give it a good press. Now that we've prepared our topper and our towel, we're going to take the side with the fusible fleece. The right side we're going to match with the right side of your towel or the front of your towel. And we're going to end up pinning that in place and stitching that with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just make sure you do not catch this other flap when you're stitching it down. And after it's been stitched in place, now we're just going to fold it up and we're going to tuck that right into that little pocket. And again, we will use some pins and pin this in place and stitch it with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and then a 1/4 inch up from that previous stitch line, just for a nice decorative finished look. So again, we've got it pinned together, an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then a 1/4 inch up from there, so you have a double stitch line. And don't forget to add your branding tag, just to give it that last little bougie touch. And then there you have it. So essentially all you do is you tuck this through, pull your towel around, and then it would sit right on your oven door handle or dishwasher handle. So if you do make one of these, I would love for you to share a picture of yours. So thanks for following along. Make sure you like, follow, and share this post for more sewing content. Happy sewing!